I believe that we live in a culture that tells women that they have to go out and they have to have a career and they have to make a lot of money and work a 9-to-5 job or be the starter of some business in order to be a successful human being. And for the longest time, I believed this as well. And it's not like I probably would have said that I believe these things, but in my mind, I definitely felt an extreme insecurity because of my begrudging decision to stay home and be a homemaker. So today I wanted to talk to any women out there who are homemakers or are starting that journey or have that goal in mind someday, and yet maybe there's a slight part of you that still kind of cringes at the thought or feels self-conscious about the decision. So I wanted to share my story, share a really, really inspiring quote, and then share several different practical tips that I applied that honestly totally have transformed my mind and given me so much more confidence and so much more excitement and a genuine passion for homemaking that I would have never imagined a year ago I would ever experience. So to start off, I wanted to share my story. So I got married at a pretty young age. I was 19 when I got married, and the first several months after we got married, we had moved to a town that was about 2 hours away from where I had grown up. So it was kind of off the beaten trail, and I had to leave my old job. And so I was without a job for a couple of months, and I felt so insecure. I remember going to the doctors and having to fill out my, where I worked and feeling so embarrassed, thinking they're gonna think I'm so lazy that I'm just mooching off of this guy, and I just cringed at it. So I did end up getting a job, and I absolutely loved it. It was fantastic. I made $30 to $40 an hour, so I was really making a good amount of money, especially for living in the small town we were living in. And then I had a surprise baby, and I quit my job because I wanted to stay home. I knew that was the right thing for me to do. I knew I wanted to homeschool my kids. And yet, despite all of that knowledge, I still felt so uncomfortable having to admit, yes, I don't have a job and I stay at home. It just has such a negative connotation to it. And so I remember thinking, as I stayed at home and, we still had so much to do. We were remodeling a house. We were growing a garden. I was, taking care of a newborn. I helped take care of other people's children. I had a lot to do. It was not that I didn't have enough work to do. It's just that I didn't have work that I was getting paid to do. And so I felt insecure. Once again, that insecurity welded back up in me. And so I remember thinking so many times, I am going to have this insecurity for the rest of my life. This is just going to be something I have to deal with and I have to cringe through every single time people ask me, oh, where do you work? What do you do? Oh, I totally hated those questions. So now I want to jump forward a little bit and tell you some different things that I started doing that totally changed my concept of homemaking, changed my desire and my passion to actually want to be a homemaker, and has made me feel extremely successful and extremely content and extremely passionate about this area in my life, this huge, massive area of my life that before I felt so insecure about. So the first tip that I wanted to share has to do with your mindset, and this helped me so much. I realized, you know what? I wanted to excel when I worked at. I wanted to get promotions. I wanted to get experience. I wanted to do a great job. I wanted to do my very best. So why don't I apply that same mindset to working here at home? Why don't I try to excel rather than kind of just try to exist? And so when I changed my mindset and really started focusing on, this is an area I want to excel in. I want to excel in my marriage. I want to excel with taking care of a good home. I want to excel with making healthy meals. I started to feel more successful. And so your mindset is a huge thing to really look at and see if there's a way that you can improve it and realize, you know what, this is an area I want to flourish in and I want to do great at. My next tip kind of follows these same lines, and I realized that for myself, one of the reasons why I didn't feel successful staying at home was because at the end of the day, I didn't have the discipline to actually experience success. And it wasn't until I started making routines and schedules and to-do lists constantly that I really started to feel more successful and feel more confident about staying at home, because I was seeing that I was getting stuff done. And so this kind of goes back to my first point, which is to really view homemaking as an area you want to excel and succeed at. And so then apply certain disciplines and apply certain mindsets that helps you actually be successful. And so when I started to get up earlier and not sleep in so late, and when I started to put in a load of laundry every single morning and not go to bed without doing the dishes, I started to feel so much happier with the results. And it's simple, little things. You don't have to change them all in one day. This has been a gradual change since I got married. And just now I'm really feeling so pleased with the results at the end of the day. Seeing, I was able to accomplish something today. I feel so good about myself. Whether it's, I was able to get some things done in my garden, just little things like that really make you feel better. My third tip is for those of us who have goals and dreams that maybe don't just apply to the home. So I have different writing goals. I have different goals down the road of things I would like to accomplish. In fact, I have little business goals of things I'd like to eventually develop that I'm taking everyday steps to now that don't require all day, but require maybe an hour or so, that I know will pay off down the road, even though right now I'm not seeing crazy results in them. And so I know that by taking these steps, it gives me a sense of long-term purpose, that just doing the dishes and folding a basket of laundry, the same basket of laundry I'm going to fold the next day, the same dishes that are going to be in my sink the next day, just doesn't give me quite the same sense of satisfaction and long-term goals that I'm working on. And so I realize some women are going to be in totally different situations. If you're a mom with 6 kids and your husband's gone a lot, then of course you're going to be in a totally different spot, and this isn't going to apply quite as well as someone who has 1 child. But for those of us who can and do have those goals and long-term dreams, I think learning to apply those in ways that you can do from the home really brings a sense of satisfaction. The fourth topic that I wanted to speak on today is also one that I think goes a little bit neglected in this culture, and yet I think is so very beautiful and so incredibly important. And that is our unique gifting as women, our unique talent we have as women, not only in the business realm, but also in the home, and the talents that requires and the intentionality that requires, that I think is so beautiful and is so rare if you go into a single man's home to be like, whoa, your decorating style is so good. There's such a sense of peace here. There's an atmosphere of love and an aroma of welcomingness here. I don't really see that in single guys' homes a lot. And I think that illustrates that we as women have this beautiful ability and power to create an environment in our home that I don't think today is even really spoken on. And I don't think people always think of it as a valuable trait in us women, but it is, and it's so unique to us. So to go along with this, I wanted to read this quote from Janie Ortlund, I believe is how you say her name, and I find it so very beautiful and inspiring. I believe a godly home is a foretaste of heaven. Our homes, as imperfect as they are, must be a haven from the chaos outside. They should be a reflection of our eternal home, where troubled souls find peace, wearied hearts find rest, hungry bodies find refreshment, lonely pilgrims find communion, and wounded soldiers find compassion. You all, I think the first time I heard that, I almost cried, just because I was like, yes, that is what I want my home to be. That quote embodies everything I want to create in my home. And I realize there are imperfect moments. Of course they are. There are moments when we get frustrated. There are moments when we're just disappointed. There are moments when life doesn't go the way we want it to go. But that is my long-term goal. And that is such an important trait and gifting us women have. And I think it's time that it be treated as such rather than be dusted under the rug and considered to be unvaluable or unimportant. The thing about all of these things that I mentioned too that I really love is that none of them require an extravagant house or tons of money or the perfect car. All it requires is hard work and a love for the people that you're serving and a love for the job that you're given. And so I hope that that was illustrated through this video, and I hope you found this really encouraging. I will link down below in the description box several other videos. My morning routine video that is super productive and really helped me get a lot more done and become much more disciplined, as well as several other videos that focus on just healthy habits that you can develop in your life today that will simplify your life. And all these things have been things that have really pulled me out of feeling unsuccessful as a homemaker and a wife. So thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, please consider subscribing and have a fabulous week. I will see you in my next video next week. Bye, you guys.